Let me ask you something. What if one of the most powerful forces in your life, the one you've been taught to fear or control, is actually the key to your own transformation? Today, we're diving into a radical reframing of desire, a whole new way of understanding lust.
The material we're drawing from kicks off with this really powerful statement. It basically argues that for millennia, society has taught us a pervasive lie about ourselves, a lie so deep it's become mistaken for the truth.
All right, so to really get this new perspective, we first have to take apart the old one, right? This first part of our journey is all about identifying that lie, the lie you were told, and finding the real source of our internal conflict.
And where did this lie come from? Well, according to the text, it's not from just one place. It's from everywhere, from priests, politicians, teachers, even our own parents. The idea is that these authorities, whether they meant to or not, have created this split right down the middle of us.
So here's the absolute core of it, the big misunderstanding, that you are internally at war, that love, the acceptable, pure part, is holy, while lust, the part that desires, is dirty, shameful, and something you've got to suppress. And that right there, that's the foundation for so much guilt.
But what if that's completely wrong? Here's the counterargument. Wholeness doesn't come from picking a side in this supposed war. Instead, it's proposed that true humanity, maybe even divinity, is found right where these two powerful forces meet.
Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial shift in thinking. Our second section, energy is just energy. Here, we're going to move away from all that moral judgment and just look at what this force actually is.
Our source offers a completely new definition. Lust isn't a moral failing, it's just raw, untamed life energy. It's like the hum of life vibrating inside you. And in this view, energy itself is totally neutral. It's neither good nor bad, it just is.
Just look at this comparison. It lays it all out so clearly. On the left, you've got the old damaging story that says lust is an enemy to be fought. But on the right, you get this empowering new take. Lust is just energy. It's neutral. And, most importantly, it's a seed. It has potential.
I love this metaphor because it just clicks. Think about fire. Is fire evil? Of course not. The same fire that can burn a house down can also cook your food. The outcome just depends on the awareness of the person using it. And the same principle applies to our internal energy. The problem isn't the fire, it's that we haven't learned how to work with it.
So, if fighting our own nature isn't the answer, what happens when we try anyway? This section, The Prison of Repression, explores why that whole approach isn't just ineffective, but actually deeply damaging.
This is a classic, but it makes the point perfectly. Try it right now. Try not to think of a pink elephant. What just happened? Of course, you immediately pictured one. The very act of trying to suppress a thought just makes your mind obsess over it. Fighting a desire only gives it more and more power over you.
And the fallout from all this suppression? It's pretty serious. When you push this energy down, it doesn't just vanish. No, it gets twisted, perverted. It starts leaking out in our dreams. It morphs into anger and jealousy. And it can lead to the kind of hypocrisy we see all the time. People preaching purity while they're secretly in turmoil. This is a heavy one. The text argues that if you want to control people, the most effective way is to make them feel guilty about their own bodies, their own life force. I mean, think about it. You don't need prison bars when a person's own mind has become their prison, and shame is the chain. Okay, so if suppression is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's not about more control, but it's not about mindless indulgence either. It's a completely different path, the alchemy of conscious observation. And here's the foundational principle for this new approach. You cannot transform something you're at war with. Hating your desire just binds you to it. It makes you obsessed. The path to transformation, to freedom, begins with acceptance, with a kind of love for your own energy. All right, so this sounds great in theory, but what do you actually do? Well, the method here is all about meditative awareness. Instead of fighting desire when it comes up, you simply sit with it. You observe the energy in your body without slapping a good or bad label on it. You just become the witness. You become the watcher. And this is where the magic happens. By simply watching, you create a little space between your conscious self, the watcher, and the energy of desire. You realize you are not the desire, you're the one observing it. And in that space, that energy naturally begins to change, to transform, and to rise.
Which brings us to our final section, and it uses this beautiful metaphor of a seed, flower, and fragrance to show the ultimate potential of this transformed life energy.
So here,
Lust is framed as the very starting point. It's the seed, hidden in the dark earth of our biology. It's raw, it's potent, and it is absolutely necessary. Without the seed, nothing can grow.
And as that same energy is met with awareness, it begins to grow upwards, towards the light. It blossoms into love. Love is the flower. It's the expression of that energy reaching out, sharing its beauty, opening up to the world.
The final stage is prayer. Now, this isn't prayer in the traditional sense of asking for things. It's the selfless fragrance of the flower. It's just offered to existence, with no conditions, belonging to no one. It's that same energy, now at its highest, most refined state.
So you see, it's all one energy. It's just a single spectrum. When it's unconscious, it moves outward as raw desire. When you bring your awareness to it, it turns inward and refines into love. And at its absolute peak, it becomes a selfless offering to existence.
And this brings us full circle, leaving us with a final, provocative thought to chew on. What if the very fire you were taught to be so afraid of is actually your doorway to the divine?